guys, Steve Girardi here. Welcome to Steve Strings. Today I have another unboxing video for you. Today it's going to be an unboxing video of a banjo. This is a banjo I picked up from a Goodwill auction. It is a tenor banjo. And other than that, I don't know a whole lot about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I picked this up because I already have a 6-string guitar banjo, which has been a gift. And I'll probably do a review of that at some point in the future. I also recently picked up a 5-string bluegrass banjo as sort of a fixer-upper project. But I don't have a tenor banjo, but I do have a tenor guitar. So I thought, well, let me go ahead and pick one of these up so I'll have kind of the full spectrum of the banjos. For those of you who aren't familiar with tenor banjos, they're typically somewhere around a 20 to 23 inch scale, and they have 4 strings rather than the reentrantly strung 5-string banjo. Well, from looking at this box, we can see that it was very well packed, which I'm really glad to see. That bodes well for the instrument inside. And I believe this was shipped to me from California, if I recall. Yeah, this is very well packaged, very well packaged. Okay, so much for that. Okay, so it looked like it came with a gig bag, and this looks like it's an aftermarket gig bag. It says Stone Case Company. And it looks like the tenor banjo stops here. So this bag looks like it was probably really made for a bluegrass style banjo. But still, it covers it. We'll keep it safe. I can find the zipper for it. There's 2 zippers that roll down to the bottom. Okay, this gig bag, again, looks like it's not very thick. It's basically just a cover. It doesn't have any padding to speak of. But we'll go ahead and take it off and look at the banjo. Now again, keep in mind that this banjo I only saw in photographs on the Goodwill site. Okay, so let's look at some first glance here. First thing is, I found this lying around inside of the bag, and I'm not sure where that came from. It looks like it might be some kind of binding, but I don't see any binding missing anywhere, so I'll set this aside and see if I find a home for it. Let's go ahead and take a measurement of this so I can see what the scale is on this. So again, so there's what, 5, 7, 10, 12. So it looks like it's 11¼ inches, almost 11½ to the 12th fret. So we get like a 22½ or 23 inch scale, something like that. Again, this is not a new banjo, needless to say. And I can see already that the resonator is moving around relative to the tone ring, so that'll be interesting to look at. And as you can hear that, there's something rolling around in there. But let's go ahead systematically and look at it from stock to tailpiece and see what we have. First of all, this is unbranded. I don't see any kind of nomenclature on this anywhere. It has a basic, sort of a just basic shaped headstock to it. These tuners do not look that new. They're basic kind of tuners. I might look at replacing those with some like Goto tuners or UPT tuners or banjo type tuners. Again, the nut here is a 4-string nut. There are some, looks like scuffs or scratches here on the back of the neck. Nothing really deep though. They look like they don't go through the finish, which is good. There is a bit of a scratch down here at the heel, and that does go into the neck a bit. That's a bit of a dent. The fretboard at first glance does not look like a problem. Let's go ahead and look and see how straight that is. And from looking at it, I don't see any twists. It looks like there is an underbow or some relief. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. From the looks of this, there is not a truss rod in it. So that may lead to some high action down the road. Right now, it looks like the action is fairly high right here at the, or here at the 12th fret. So I might need to make some adjustments on the bridge to deal with that if this thing, in fact, does have an underbow. And it looks like it does. So the resonating surface, the drum head looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's also unbranded. I can see lots of scuff marks on it, so this has obviously been played. The tailpiece looks like it's a tailpiece. I can show that to you. It's a tailpiece from like a 5-string banjo, but they have the 4 strings strung up on there. If you look at the back side of the resonator here, you can see it actually has a nice little design there to it. And get it in the right light here. It has a bit of a nice design. But the one thing, like I said, things are rolling around here and there are things that are loose. From looking at this, I'm not even sure what this is. There's some kind of piece of metal here on the side that's loose. And my guess is that might have been the support for like the forearm cover. Looks like there's a piece of wood in here. Let's see if I can get that out. Okay, so that's a piece of wood that I found rolling around inside the resonator. That's disconcerting. So that obviously came from something inside, and I wonder if it came from the neck, from the through neck. No, it didn't, because I can see there's not a through neck in there. It's got one of those rods that goes all the way through. Oh, I see what it is. This looks like it's like a kind of a kerfing or something to keep this lifted off of the back of the resonator. So that means I've got some work to do, which is good. I like fixer-upper projects, and this is definitely going to be a little bit of a fixer-upper. I'm going to have to do my research on this to figure out how these resonators are attached to the ring, and I think I can see it now. Yeah, there's a piece of hardware here. This looks like this is supposed to attach the piece of wood on the back of the tone ring, and there's a matching one here that is attached, and that's the only thing attached to this. So it looks like my options are at this point to do one of a couple things. One is I can go ahead and just take this resonator off, and I could use this as an open-backed tenor banjo. Or I can go ahead and look at trying to reattach this by doing some, we're working on it. The other thing, like I said, is I need to go ahead and probably do some kind of work with that neck to see if I can improve the action on that. And again, maybe all that I can be able to do really is to lower that bridge. And I don't know how well you can see this, but that bridge is not really that high to start with. There's kind of a fairly shallow break angle here. I suppose one other thing I could do is I could look at perhaps replacing this the tailpiece, because there's some tailpieces that kind of push these strings down, and that might improve the break angle, particularly if I look at not being able to really change the configuration of the neck, but I have to just try to lower those strings down. So there we have it. So this is again a essentially no-named banjo, tenor banjo, and it looks like this is going to be a fixer-upper, but hopefully it shouldn't be too much work. Depending upon the status of these tuners, and for right now it looks like they're pretty tight. They're not loose or wiggly, so it looks like those are probably going to be serviceable and shouldn't need to be replaced. The neck here, I might be able to clean that up a little bit, do some light sanding on it, maybe spray another layer of finish on that to clean that up. Again, the back of the resonator here, it looks good. I don't think I'll have to do anything with that. Maybe just polish that a bit. and then either decide if I want to just detach the resonator and leave it open backed, or to reattach it and have a resonator. My guess is I'll probably eventually do the latter. At first, probably take it off so I can play it, but eventually go ahead and repair this and replace the resonator on there. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you like these kinds of videos, please subscribe. Again, this is an unboxing. I intend to do some videos of the sort of modification or repair work I do on that, and post those for you as well. If you have any comments, if you've dealt with these tenor banjos before, I'd love to hear about them, because I don't really play this tenor banjo. At this point, I'm trying to decide how I want to tune this. I can tune this to normal CGDA for a typical tenor banjo, or I may tune it DGBE, what they call Chicago tuning, like my baritone ukuleles are tuned, or I may tune it a re-entrant GCEA and have basically a typical ukulele tuning. I haven't decided yet. I'll kind of maybe experiment with that and see if I can find something that kind of sounds right. The other thing is, this has been strung up with metal strings, but I know sometimes folks will string these up with nylon strings to give it more of an old-timey kind of a sound to it. But again, if you like watching this, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.